Welcome back to the Sonic Superstars Stutters playthrough. Cyber Station Zone is definitely one of the more striking levels in the game, but I want to say they missed a trick by not calling it Cyber City Zone.
Why?
My favorite thing about Cyber Station, a month later after this game was released, it's not even so, because this is actually my favorite zone in the game. Aesthetically speaking, I also like the gimmicks behind it outside of the mouse related thing you do later. But I think in retrospect, my favorite thing about it is the song itself, because it starts with the Sonic 2-in-1 snare for the first second, and then it just transitions into a modern sounding thing, because I think the composer of this song was Toriana, the one that handled the cyberspace stuff in Frontiers. And it kind of comes across as, yeah, we're not doing that.
I've seen multiple comments implying that on YouTube. Yeah.
I have I don't really hate the music in it. I don't even mind everyone says the Sonic 4 synth. The one thing that I can't stand at this point and never want to hear again is the Sonic 1 and 2 drum snare. I don't ever want to fucking hear that ever. I hate that so much.
Yeah, Jun Seno's kind of killed that for everyone.
So you're never gonna be playing Sonic 1 or 2 ever again, is what you're telling me.
The problem with it is that they can work. They absolutely can work. It's just that I think in this case, again with Jun Seno, it's more I'm only using it because it's old. Yeah. And not because it's for an aesthetical choice.
It seems to be the only Genesis instrument he knows how to use.
Yeah. Or at least is familiar with.
Okay.
I love these designs. Why aren't these? Why the fuck did we get Lego skins and not just these to play as?
So, I saw previews of this stage before the game came out. I wasn't sold on it, but the thing that actually sells me on this is okay, well that just ruins the mood completely.
Yes, it does. That sucks.
Whenever you use an Emerald Power, you lose the digital thing.
Yeah, again, $60 game. That should not happen in a $60 full price game.
But it's the effect on Amy's hammer, where instead of it going all the way around her, you see the kind of sprite animated swoosh instead, but in 3D. That was really cool. I like that a lot. Now, quick question: do you unlock Trip at this point in the campaign, or
no?
Do
you have to finish the campaign.
Okay, even though we're friends now. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's because of how the story starts, essentially.
Well, I mean, it would make sense for Trip to be playable at this point, because she comes with you to the final boss. You see her in the ending animation squeezed into the escape capsule with the other characters.
Which is weird because we don't, in any of the gameplay cutscenes, we don't see, when at the end of the ice level, when everyone jumps into their Eggman ships, Trip isn't there. So how the fuck she got to that is beyond me, to be honest with you.
How are you actually supposed to do that?
I don't know.
Cool. All right, I'm glad we had this discussion together.
Probably bullet. But anyway, so I'm glad to see the best part of Shadow the Hedgehog making a comeback. When are we going to get Classic Shadow?
Dude, I've wanted Classic Shadow for
we can't get a Classic Shadow.
Years.
Because now Sega have officially confirmed it is one timeline and then there's 2 dimensions bullshit. At this point in the franchise, Shadow's locked away. There can't be a Classic Shadow.
There's already time travel in this stupid goddamn series. They can bring him back.
Not to get too existential about this, but because I have thought about this beforehand about the idea of a Classic Shadow. I always figured that Shadow was created in his modern form. Yeah. There was just no, he wasn't born. He wasn't made as a child first. He just is.
In context, I'm pretty sure in context of I think there's in maybe the Japanese manual or something like that, they state he was created only a few weeks before he was, frozen essentially. So yeah, he was pretty much just made in his modern design.
Guys, you're overthinking it. This game lets you play as a cut content rabbit and a Lego character version of whoever you're playing as.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah,
classic
but everything
Shadow.
is canon, Lewis. So
But but here's the thing, though. Our counterpoint to that, those have basis in stuff that already exists, or at least exists conceptually.
Yeah.
The rabbit being the original design of Sonic, and the Lego thing just being a callback to Lego Dimensions. But the idea of a classic Shadow to this day still does not exist. And I don't think it ever will unless they decide to just say fuck it.
I mean,
so if everything is
not
canon,
officially,
that means
but-
Lego Dimensions is canon.
Yeah, not officially, but we're not counting fan stuff. Otherwise, we can say anything.
Well,
you know?
which means that the Scooby-Doo franchise is canon, which means that Scrappy-Doo is a potential playable character in the next Sonic the Hedgehog game.
Yes,
As we all know, Scooby-Doo is crossed over with Don Knotts, so Don Knotts is canon to the Sonic universe.
Also, Kiss. Sonic X Kiss could definitely be a
Batman.
thing.
And Elvira, yes, please.
am I the only one who found it a little disconcerting that Cyberstation has so many different gimmicks for a one-act zone?
They probably wanted it to. That's probably why they have so many gimmicks. Because if it's a one-act zone, they want to stuff everything they can into it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, you only get one instance of the jellyfish, one instance of the mouse thing, one instance of the rocket ship. It feels like there are 2 acts worth of gimmicks in here.
Yeah, this
It's
is
weird.
a problem Nintendo and Mario typically have, especially, which is less of a problem in Wonder, which I appreciate. But like in the new Super Mario Brothers games, there'll be a stage with like the little guys with the 2 feet that like go whoop whoop whoop. I'm doing it. The Bramble guys.
The dancing
and
Goombas, yeah, I get you.
Yeah, there'll be like one stage with that enemy, and then you'll beat the stage, and then you'll never see that enemy ever again. That's a typical problem with Mario that Sonic actually doesn't generally have, because like there are stage-specific gimmicks, but Sonic stages are longer and they have 2 acts, so each idea feels more fleshed out in Sonic generally than in Mario. But like having only one little mini section is unusual for the franchise, I would say.
But part of me kind of likes that in terms of its structure. This isn't just 2 acts per zone. I like the fact that it's some have 3 because of the if we just count the fruit stages as just like a bonus level, but like certain acts have technically 3 zones that have 2 acts and then a character specific act. There's some zones that just have 1. I kind of like that. It stops it being just too as samey as previous games have been.
No, there's no problem with the structure in concept. It's just I just find it interesting how which elements deviate from other rocket.
Yeah, rocket.
This rocket's going sideways.
Yeah,
Oh, by the way, don't hit the green walls. Instant kill if you do.
What?
that's
Yeah,
generally what happens when a missile hits something.
Wait a minute!
yeah.
I just lit a rocket. Rockets explode.
Rockets explode.
So about this boss, because I got the digital, like online deluxe, whatever the fuck Sega keeps scamming people with these days, it came with like Mecha Sonic parts for this, and so because I just set up my robot to be Mecha Sonic, when this appears, like, oh my god, they're using Mecha Sonic and not Metal Sonic for the first time in years, and then I realized, oh no, wait, it's just because I set my
It just, yeah.
stupid
So
battle mode
the
thing.
robot that you fight here is based off of the avatar that you make in battle mode.
Which is a nice gimmick, I will say. I think that's a pretty
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
gimmick.
Like, it's a nice touch.
You remember how I said I had horrible luck with Super Amy?
Yeah, yeah.
This is another case of that.
Oh, okay. Well, to be fair, you're fighting your evil twin. And you guys are pound for pound the same character. It's like looking in a mirror. A evil, distorted, metallic mirror.
Yes, Johnny, we
Wait, if
know what
you-
mirrors are,
if
thank you.
we can't reach you, why are you even coming out from the background?
I was like sitting here all smug like, and then it enters phase 2, and I'm like,
I will say I do like this kind of fake and the fact that it gives you more rings. I do kind of like that.
the fact that it gives you more rings kind of gives away the gag.
Yes,
though.
it does, but holy shit, she's big now. Do you
So
do
anyway.
the trick? Do you do the trick of hitting the robots back to her? So these ones, if you like jump into the robots after they've already smacked the floor, you can hit her with them, or hit the robot with them.
So I was like, hey, I'm Super Amy. I can just hit this boss again, right? So, I freaking jumped through the boss and then died.
Well, that you have no one to blame but yourself.
I say we
yells
blame
at
the
you
French.
If you take 10 minutes. Wow, rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bullshit. I will say.
It becomes invincible during its transition to the background.
Him
I was
like,
like,
"Fuck this, I ain't doing this
the
again."
boss the real way.
Damn it. My bad luck streak as Super Amy continues.
I know. I think in the last part I mentioned how I don't love the graphics technically, but I do like a lot of the character animations. Like I love all of. I like how they redesigned kind of all of the whirly feats for each character. You know, it doesn't just look like a blur like it did in like Generations or Sonic 4. You know, I like that each character. Like, I love how Knuckles' feet look when he's running. And there's little touches like that I really appreciate.
Well, it's like the characters all have distinct running animations, is the thing.
Yes.
The only one who had that in the classic games was Tails, because he would sort of hover. But, like, Amy gets to do the adventure run, which I appreciate.
And it's another thing, like, again, when you get to Trip's story, a lot of Trip's animations just feel like they're just Sonic's animations. Just using her model, which is kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
Again,
little
60.
bit.
If this game was $40, I would have less problems with the minor, corner cutting like that. But it's just like, again, you're gonna charge me fucking full price. I expect the 5 playable characters to have different animations when they're pushing something. Call me an old fogey, but goddamn it, I want my money's worth.
Yeah. Trip could use some fine tuning all around. I definitely like the idea of integrating that. God damn it. That was the worst time to use slow.
I like how you keep trying to use super, and then the game's like, bruh.
Yeah. What do you do? You had your chance and you blew it. You flew too close to the sun, Amy.
I'm opening up the power wheel to try and decide what power to use, mostly. Damn
This
it.
feels like that episode of Pokemon with the Primeape, and at the end, Ash is just throwing out Pokemon, hoping to do something, and nothing works.
I remember that, asshole.
Primeape, that is still, whenever I hear the 4D Pokemon anime rendition of the Pokemon Gym Leader battle theme, I don't think of a Gym Leader fight, I think of Charmander versus Primeape. My mind always goes to.
But that didn't hit her. This game's bullshit.
It kind of sailed right on over her head.
I do like the idea of the Emerald powers in theory, but the special one that you get, the hammer throw for Amy, I do kind of wish that was just like something she could do. Like, is just throw. I mean, granted, having a projectile attack in Sonic sounds like it would be broken.
Well, here's the thing. The hammer throw actually originates in Sonic Origins as her Hyper Amy power.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, like, whenever you press there is no attack button, but is there, like, a special button set to throw hammers as Hyper Amy?
I don't remember. I just know that she gets the hammer throw when she's Hyper Amy.
Okay.
Which seems a bit redundant. I mean, she's invincible and can just blaze through things, but,
Yeah. I mean, I feel it wouldn't be as broken as, like, Cream and Cheese were in Sonic Advance 2. Because, like, you didn't even have to aim with those guys. You could just...
You mean Diet Super Tails.
Diet Super Tails?
Yeah. You remember what Super Tails does, right?
Cream
Cream
also,
is better than
he
Super
has
Tails because
the flickies. I forgot about that,
flickies,
yeah.
you can't control the flickies. They just flew around. Cream is like targets motherfuckers with that chow. Cream is way better than Super Tails is.
I'm just thinking Cream's like, oh, she's a pacifist. She doesn't like fighting, yet she is the biggest bringer of mass destruction in Sonic the Hedgehog history. So, you freaking hypocrite.
That's her loophole. She's like the Amish. We don't use electricity. We just have a phone near our land that we use. I'm not killing people. I'm sending my chow to do. All right, Cream, I know your game.
With the Avatar boss as Metal Amy, it's kind of hilarious because it's just like, why would Eggman build a giant robot of Amy to ride around inside the head of? I'm just like...
Psychological warfare.
He knows that in order to defeat Sonic, he has to make something that Sonic fears, right?
I just wanna, you know what? I don't want to bring this LP down, but let's just say that Eggman's on certain watch lists. We'll just say that.
Oh my god. Yeah, that certainly brought it down.
Good, then my job is done.
That he just immediately leaves. Doesn't even give us the audio
Goodbye.
afterwards.
My job is done, but you didn't do anything, didn't I?
So that boss took a bit of a while. It's kind of another one that could have been paced better, but I do like the integration of the battle mode robot. Now, if only battle mode itself were any good. Now, as John mentioned earlier, he skipped Act 1 in his playthrough. I, on the other hand, accidentally skipped Act Tails. So, this was recorded...
Why is this so easy for people to just skip zones in this fucking game?
Normally it says go to Act 1, 2, or character, but is this the first level in this zone?
No, this leads into Act 2.
Both Act 1 and Act Tails lead into Act 2 if you just select next at the end of them. It's very strange. My theory is that they originally meant this to be in between Act 1 and 2, like the other character acts are, but then they decided it made more story sense for Tails to find the junkyard first, and then you play Act 1 and then catch up with Tails, and he gives you what he fixed up. So,
but if you're playing as Tails the entire time, he just backtracks to the beginning of the area. Okay.
Yeah, but like that was a story beat that they integrated into the game later. So originally they had it programmed to go into Act 1, Act Tails, Act 2. And then they changed it around so that it would be Act Tails, Act 1, Act 2. But then they forgot to fix all the flags. So both of them lead into Act 2.
I forget. So if you're and I forget if you guys mentioned this, if you're playing like a 4-player co-op and it gets to one of these, there's whoever is playing as Tails just play it, or is it like player one?
So these acts are always single player and it's always player one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even if say player one was playing as Knuckles, if it got to this, player one would have to play. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, these acts are also like you can just freely skip them, even if you're just playing in single player. So it's kind of kind of a moot point.
That's true, but it's a feels bad either way, because if you're playing this game with friends, right, and it's just like, oh well, we have to just sit here and watch you play, and then if it's like, no, well you can skip it, just like, oh well, I have to skip a level now. I can't play this until they leave, and I can do it on my own. It feels like there's no solution that feels good.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't, sort of thing.
I will say the worst implementation of multiplayer is if you try and do a special stage where everyone just takes over control after a few. I'm like, this is the worst fucking idea anyone's ever had.
Whoa.
Ted, if you go into a special stage, say you're playing as four people, right? Whoever let's say player one is Sonic and Sonic jumped into the ring. So Sonic is being. I saw that jump cut there, Lewis.
That was not a jump cut. That was me jittering down the corner of the platform.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So let's say four of us are playing, and we go into a special stage. I, as player one, will get to control the first 3 moves, and then it will switch to player 2, who will control the next 3 moves, and it is the most disorientating thing I've ever played in a multiplayer game in my life.
That sounds like the worst Mario Party minigame of all time. Why would they do
so
that?
bad. It's, I guess, which to me, I'm like, if it's a special stage, just let the person It's weird how, like, for something like that, they were like, oh, we have to make sure everyone's included. But for these acts, they were just like, just let one person play. Who cares?
Yeah. Well, like everything else in this game, it was designed for single player first, and multiplayer was an afterthought.
Yeah.
Rainbows!
Does anyone else not like how big the ball gets as Tails? Because it makes his tails look tiny in comparison to his actual body. It's like,
Listen,
it's like
you don't shame a person about the size of their tail.
No, it's like,
gosh.
Look at his tails now. When he goes into when he jumps, it's like he accrues like twice his body mass to make that ball look twice as big as it should be.
No, that's just his superpowers,
Well,
you fucking idiot.
I mean, Tails doing a spin attack was always a bit wacky because he's a fox. He doesn't have spines. Never made sense.
But foxes also don't have two tails. So who cares?
My run of horrible luck with the super forms continues.
Well, no, that was more you just fucking up. But.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
let's be fair. Now, that was just you, Lewis.
Well, I mean, it's really fucking weird that Tails curls into a puffball and it damages things, and his tails don't follow the puffball.
Yeah.
Okay?
That is a good point, considering that if it were realistic, I mean, granted, how dare we imply that Sonic's not realistic, right? But the way that Tails' animation works, like, his tails should be moving alongside his body at all times. Like, his tails are sticking out of his chest for a fraction of a second there every time.
It would actually have made a lot more sense if he did the Amy Rose thing and just whipped his tail around whenever he's doing a spin jump. But,
that would make more sense, yeah.
But they didn't think of that until Amy Rose, so... oops.
Also, I think it looks stupid, but unfortunately, like I'm not sure if iconic is the right word, but it's such a part of Tails' visual iconography. They can't change it now at this point. Even if it does look dumb as fuck, they can't. You know?
I mean, I guess just for the 2D games, because if I'm remembering Sonic Adventure and Sonic Heroes correctly, when he jumps in those games, they do like the actual somersault animation, and the tails just kind of like get curled up into him, and it looks fine.
No, in SA1, it was a ball.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, I forgot
and-
SA1 had the weird ball.
Yeah, because in
thing, too.
SA1, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles were balls again. But yeah, I forget in Frontiers, does he have ball jump or does he have like actual physics jump?
I think it's just a regular jump. Oh, because remember, also think back to in SA2 when you controlled Tails in like Chow World. Like, I don't think he rolled into a ball when he jumped. I think he just jumped straight up.
I think SA2 was the first game where like nobody jumped into a ball.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
nothing here.
Yeah,
I
no,
know what
they-
to do. Make shit up.
Anyway.
That red should have
hold
been
on,
brown.
Oh, I wonder what he's doing.
What if the game just ended
The
there?
next part is like he just fixed the TV and he's just chilling on a couch.
No, but like Johnny,
Next
what
part.
if the game just ended there? Tails just started making shit. Credits Sonic Superstars.
That's why you gotta buy Superstars Plus, you dumbass.